All righty then. Now we're going to move along to alleged illustrations of the doctrine of the Trinity. Okay, so now I'm going to ruin all of your Sunday school materials that you've been using for the last couple of decades and show you why it's just not a good idea to use these as illustrations. First, as I mentioned in the last lecture, the Trinity is unique. There's nothing that exists that is exactly like the Trinity. As I already mentioned, what the best illustration you're going to get for something that actually exists is, in fact, the human soul with its three faculties. See, there you've got a single, again, spiritual, simple substance that simultaneously exists, you could argue, in three ways: an intellectual way, a volitional way, and an affective way. But the problem is psychological faculties are not themselves persons. What you get with this illustration is to show the coherence of there can actually be something that exists entirely in three modes or ways at the same time. And that's not inherently incoherent. So and again, that's the closest you're going to get. Now, what you're going to see, for example, people will say, well, the Trinity is it's kind of like a man. When he's at his own house, he's the father, and then he goes to his mom's house and he's the son, and then he goes to work and he's the professor. See, father, son, and professor. And what do you have there? You have the heresy of modalistic monarchianism. Okay, that's one person who's playing different roles at different times. Okay, that is not Trinitarianism. So, scratch that one from your Trinitarian illustrations. Now, if you want to illustrate heresy, use that one. Okay, that's a good one for you. So, water in its three modes, I covered in the previous lecture. That can be a great illustration of a modal distinction on how a particular substance with its properties can exist in different ways, but water cannot exist, the same quantity of water can't exist in all three modes, solid, liquid, and gas, at the same time. So what you're going to get with the water illustration is either tritheism, you have to cut it into three different quantities, okay, of substance, or you're going to end up with modalistic monarchianism, Sabellianism, Patripassianism, that heresy we're going to get to in a minute that teaches God is one person who plays different roles at different times. Yeah, so sorry, water in its three modes doesn't work. And then you get into some pretty ridiculous ones like the egg. Okay, really? A shell, the yolk, and the white part of the egg? At that point, it's like, really? You really want to go with that? Okay, that's tritheism because, again, you have separate quantities of substance. So I don't know, which one's the father? Is he the shell that holds it all together or the yolk? So anyway, scrap the yolk. That's tritheism, or as they call it, partialism, because you're cutting the divine substance into parts, okay? Whereas with tritheism, because now you've got three gods, okay? So that's why it's called either tritheism or partialism. And then three-leaf clovers, nope, still got tritheism or partialism there. You don't have the entire substance or quantity of substance existing in three ways at the same time. Some modern thinkers have used the soul of Kerberos. Kerberos in mythology was the three-headed dog that guards the gates of Hades. If you're a Harry Potter fan, right, it's Fluffy. Yeah, the point is that some have suggested that, well, if you killed Kerberos, that Kerberos's soul would be something like the Trinity. It'd be a single soul with three sets of rational faculties in it. Again, if you want to use that, you can use it. I have some objections to this. Like, one, it's fiction, and I don't want to analogize to fiction. God is like this thing that doesn't really exist, so probably not. Probably also, you look at the soul of Kerberos, really what you've got are three persons with three intellects, three wills, and three sets of emotions. And they're all sort of, you look at the heads of the dog, they're snapping at different things at different time. There doesn't seem to be a single set of divine omniscience here, or a single will, or things like that we see in the Godhead. After that, hey, three men in a tub, 3-in-1 oil, or as one of my students once said, how about PERT Plus, shampoo, conditioner, and detangler all in one? Okay. At some point, it's all going to break down. You're not going to have an entire substance subsisting in three modes at the same time. So if you're going to use any of these, make sure you're clear that you're using them to illustrate some aspect of the Trinity. Like here, I'm illustrating how things can be in different modes, okay? Or I'm illustrating how things are distinct, okay? So on and so forth. But don't ever say that any of these are actually illustrations of the Trinity, because we don't want to lay falsehoods and false ideas in people's minds when we're doing discipleship that we're going to have to correct later. So be careful there. All right, in our next segment, I'll look at the Trinitarian heresies. So again, now we'll end this segment with illustrations. Thanks.